Hey, what's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas with you. We are pinpointing a few strong thunderstorms out there. There is nothing damaging. There's nothing of too concern. There is a lot of lightning in these storms, but the good news is right now everything is a-okay and not damaging. But we are going to get all into that. There is the threat for a few severe thunderstorms this afternoon, of course, as we are going to be tracking this for the next little bit of time here. I'm just going to switch the camera up a little bit. All right, so there we go. The strongest storms right now are mainly south of Orlando. So if you're watching from Lake Mary, Oviedo, Apopka, and looking south, there are some pretty dark clouds on here. And we're coming at you live on Facebook and on YouTube. And, of course, clickorlando.com if you have the new 6 app on your phone. You can take us wherever you are heading to. So hope you guys are all doing well on this afternoon. Hey, Kevin, what's going on YouTube? Hey, guys. Good to see you all. All right, so the strongest storm right now, we're going to zoom right on in south of Rockledge. So, again, if you are on Satellite Beach and you see some of the lightning strikes, good idea to come back in. There's, again, nothing damaging here, but we do have a pretty nasty thunderstorm. I'm going to put this in motion. This is kind of drifting back to the coast. The good news is we popped these about an hour ago, anywhere from that 2 o'clock to 2:30 time frame across most of Central Florida. We might be able to get this done pretty early this afternoon and evening. So if we have evening plans, I'm thinking we're going to start to quiet things down fairly quickly. So that's some good news there. Here is our nasty storm. I'm going to put a little tracker on this for you to time this into South Patrick Shores and into Satellite Beach. So again, if you're watching from the beach in Brevard County along the Space Coast, hope you're having a great afternoon. South Patrick Shores in about 15-20 minutes. This is going to kind of drift into your area, at least get really, really close. Indian Harbor Beach in about 22 minutes. I suspect that most of this is going to drift to your north, but you see, look at this. Lightning strikes all over the place in Brevard County. What's going on in Palm Bay? We have more storms kind of firing up here just to our west, and these are also kind of drifting from west to east with a little jog to the north. So again, it's dry right now in Palm Bay. It's dry right now in Melbourne. That is likely going to change. I want to point something out here. Then we're going to take a look at some of those cells that have been popping in Osceola County for watching and around Kissimmee St. Cloud celebration. Notice this faint little green line right here. You kind of see it on the move here. That is where the sea breeze is coming inland. So if we are going to get some strong storms, I think some really, really strong storms that could create a little bit of damage, it's going to be over the next hour or so as the sea breeze kind of interacts with these storms out here. That gives a little more oomph in the atmosphere to kind of get these storms to go up a little more vigorously. So that's what we're going to watch. I also want to point out, again, if you can hear the thunder, you are close enough to get struck. Again, the good news is that there is nothing damaging out here right now. There are no warnings, so I want to be clear about that. But just want to hop on here because these storms are impacting outdoor plans, especially from Orlando and points south. So here's the deal. I'm going to turn off the loop. Look at this lightning strike here. This is the true danger of lightning. There is really no storm around. I mean, they're close by, but look how much further away. There's the main cell. We have another developing cell, and then there's the lightning strike just randomly in between. So, again, it is important on a day like today, and as we transition, if you're from Florida or visiting, planning to visit Florida, it's important to make sure that you have a way to kind of check where those lightning storms are, because you don't need things to be severe and damaging to cause some issues out there. And we definitely have some of that going on right now. A lot of lightning in the mix right now. Hey, what's going on in Orlando? We're taking some comments live from Facebook and from YouTube. In St. Cloud, we have a report of it sounds like hurricane force winds. So some nasty little downdrafts. That's what you are hearing outside. This is what we were dealing with right now. Now, there are no warnings on this, and that's kind of that step up. Whenever there are warnings issued, that's when we're going to see the higher likelihood of damage being created. So, I mean, this is just your garden variety thunderstorm that's producing that kind of craziness out there. So again, there's some really strong winds in here. Let's try to dissect this a little bit and see what we have going on inside of these storms. And again, the radar beam isn't all that. It's hitting it at a pretty good height, but we're seeing closer to the surface here. Likely some stronger winds than what the radar is depicting. So I'm going to turn back on this mode. But here is where you are in St. Cloud. Again, that comment coming in from YouTube. We still have a few lightning strikes around, but things are going to get significantly quieter for you in St. Cloud. So post where you're tuning in from on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, post that in the comments below. We can bring some of those comments over and have a little chat this afternoon as we are pinpointing these storms and kind of just watching them push southeast and then eventually fade away into your evening. So if you do have dinner plans tonight, I think in Orlando you're going to be good if they're beyond 6 o'clock. These are mainly going to start drifting again in this direction and then eventually leave us alone. I will turn on the motion so you can kind of see the direction that these storms are kind of rolling. Just turn that back off again. If you're watching from Ocala, we were talking about this yesterday. If you were watching the morning news, News 6, that we were likely going to have to keep the sprinklers on today because we were going to get hosed from any kind of rain chances in Ocala and the Villages in Leesburg where we desperately need it. So we're good. So if you're watching from Leesburg, the Villages, Bushnell, Coleman, Astatula, Eustis, we're looking pretty good tonight for the rest of your evening. I just want you to keep an eye to the sky, though, when you're looking south to make sure that none of these lightning strikes are going to start developing and then drifting back to your north. So that's where I want you to kind of pay attention to as we move over the next couple of hours. I think really once we get to 7-ish, 8 o'clock-ish, most of this is already going to start to wind down. So this is not going to last too long. Give another 4 or 5 hours, but things are kind of rocking. Bobby D with a report from Ocala. Good afternoon, or good. I guess it's still afternoon. It's only 3:30 in the afternoon. Sunny and clear, and that's the difference between Marion County and then Orlando and then Point South. And we were talking about that dividing line yesterday. If you were tuning in to the feed, which I hope you were. Anyway, Rockledge, we are getting rocked just south of town. With this cell again, we're still watching the lightning strikes. In this cell alone, we have about 24, 25 lightning strikes in it. So a highly electrified cell here. It is raining very heavy. Turn on the rain rate. Look at that big, bright purple there. So it's raining at about 6, 7 inches an hour. There may be a little small hail in there. We're not getting any kind of crazy indication here that we have some big hail. The threat tracker here that we put on does suggest that we have hailstones about the size of an inch. We're going to do some real-time pinpointing here and dissecting. I think it might be a little overinflated in terms of that hail size, but I would not be surprised if there's some smaller hail. Let's zoom in here, though. Just south of us in Viera. So this is getting real close. If I have anybody tuning in from Pineda or Lotus, Bonaventure, Viera, near Mural Road, we are in Brevard County for those just tuning in. This is where we have some of the most intense. South of Orlando, around St. Cloud, and then around Viera, around Rockledge, Satellite Beach, just north of there. This is Mural Road here, Viera Boulevard, a lot of lightning strikes. Where you're seeing these purple colors here, that's where we could have some small hail. That's where the radar beam is kind of being forced back by the storm a little bit quicker, a little bit more intense, and that's where it's kind of pegging here that we have some hail. So right along Lake Andrew Drive, if anybody's living and happens to be watching from that area, that's where we have some of the more intense action, if you will. Debbie says, dry as a bone in Deltona. I wish I could. I wish I had that power. I know, it's nuts. So we're going to go back up into Deltona, and we got close today. We did. There were a few little downpours that try to pop up. And we do have one nearby. I mean, it's going to be nothing. It's not going to help your lawn out. But there is a little one there, and then we have a nice little downpour over New Smyrna Beach and Edgewater, so that's kind of helping things out a little bit. But, again, I think for the most part, if you are northwest of I-4, along and northwest of I-4, that's where we're going to be really, really dry. I mean, great for your plans tonight, but we could use a drink, as Debbie alluded to here. Hey, in Winter Haven, these are moving off to the north and east. So I don't want to say you're completely done with this in Winter Haven. You might have another little round to go, but what you just dealt with has now kind of blossomed. Here's us in Winter Haven, and then here are those storms that just kind of came through. So they've kind of grown up a little bit and then moved to the east of you. There's another little downpour in Bartow. I think your main event area is done. We have another little kind of forcing mechanism that's going to come through and help to force up a few more lingering showers and thunderstorms. But I think this was really your time here, and things should be ending pretty much, I would say, from really about Tampa to north of Lakeland to like north of Daytona Beach. Let me zoom out and I'll draw that line better. This is about where you are good from, where you're dry, where your evening plans are going to be good. But to answer your question, these are kind of drifting off to the northeast. Did you see any kind of hail or anything in St. Cloud? I'm glad that it is finally quiet there. No, that was a rockin' storm. That was a rockin' storm that came through St. Cloud. But it's crazy. That's why we always say make sure you take the warning seriously, because that storm did not meet severe criteria, so that's why there was no warning on it. But it was still intense. And it's been a while for a lot of us. I mean, we're in that severe drought category across most of central and southwest Florida. But man, no, these are packing a punch. So I hope you didn't see any damage or get any hail. Okay. Thank you for that report. I appreciate you hopping on and telling us what you were seeing in St. Cloud. That helps us out a lot when we're in front of all the radars and stuff to get kind of ground confirmation on what's going on outside when you can do so safely. Here is what's going on in and around Orlando. We have a downpour around Ocoee. If you're hanging around in Windermere or Dr. Phillips, that's where we have the downpour right now. Orlando, Winter Park. It's all light stuff. No, not even lightning popping up in this frame here. This is kind of drifting north of Conway. Certainly the clouds look a little ominous out there at times. I'm going to bring up here a live look. That's what it looks like in Orlando. That's what it looks like at the port. And that's what it looks like in Daytona Beach. There's a lot of people on the beach, and for right now, we are okay. There's no lightning around Daytona Beach, so you are good to go. And I really think we might get a good shot of that little downpour. You might see that guy kind of blossom and produce some lightning as it moves back out to sea. But so far, your beach day is looking good in Daytona Beach. Different story if anybody is heading down to Rockledge or Satellite Beach or Melbourne Beach. I'll head back down in that way in a second. All right, it says the rain just stopped in St. Cloud. Was heavy rain and thunder, lost power twice. Hopefully the power is back on now. But yeah, no joke. Some really nasty stuff just moved through St. Cloud. It's much lighter now. Just be careful still if you're watching from St. Cloud. We have a couple people on the stream in St. Cloud. Still some lightning coming back your way. You see that kind of lone strike, and you can't because I don't have the thing. I have the radar box above my head. But there's still a lone lightning strike in St. Cloud, even though the main storm now is kind of rolling down 192 towards Holopah and Deer Park. And there we are in Holopah. So if anybody's watching from Holopah or has any friends or family that live just down the road, Harmony, we're taking it on the chin. It's going to get really heavy in just a little bit. Just doing some kind of real-time inspection here of these cells as we're watching this go through. We need some of that up this way in Orlando. I walked in to work a little bit ago, about 3 o'clock, and man, I mean, it's cloudy, but it's disgusting out there. And I know, like, it's Florida, but it's April. We should still be doing okay. I will say, though, that it is going to get a little more refreshing tomorrow behind this cold front. That's the reason for this severe weather threat that we are pinpointing today. So we're going to do a little bit better there. If you are not a fan of the crazy heat and humidity that we have been having. I'm just going to get to my switcher, and I'm going to put back on the radar full, and we're going to do another kind of a radar tour here. Let me know in the comments what you're doing. Hopefully these storms aren't messing with your plans. If you do have outdoor plans, again, south of Orlando, this is what we were talking about yesterday, that these would likely be impacted. All right, so this is what we're really going to watch here, and we've got a bunch of different intersecting boundaries. We have some that we call outflow boundaries. Basically, that is the rain-cooled air that falls down from a thunderstorm and hits the ground, and then it can't go into the ground, so the ground kind of forces it out, and then that acts as almost like a mini cold front, if you will, to kind of force more storms up. So we've got the main sea breeze right here helping to get some storms going. We have some outflow boundaries right in here. That was likely from this storm. So we've got the colder air rushing out of the storm here. You have the cooler air forcing in from the coast from the sea breeze. So we might see this area erupt more and then kind of push back here. And it's always looked like that south and east of I-4, we're going to get the most of the rockingest, if you will, thunderstorms on the day today. So that's what we're going to watch closely here over the next couple of hours. Again, things are relatively tame. Our little downpour has blossomed a little further around New Smyrna Beach in Edgewater. If anybody's planning on going to New Smyrna or hanging out at the coast, certainly give it a little more time before you head back out there, as we are kind of watching that little guy. No lightning associated with that. That's good news, but this has blossomed a little bit further. Amy says, bring on the rain. Amen. We need it bad. It's been so nice to hear downpours. And again, all without the severe weather, of course. And we do have that chance today on a very marginal scale. So we're not talking about a widespread severe weather outbreak by any means, but every now and then one of these cells can go a little rogue, if you will, and produce some damage. The good news is we are not seeing that right now. We're just hopping on here because they're little nuisance storms that could impact your afternoon if you're planning on being outside for any point in time. So we're hopping around all of Central Florida to kind of give you an idea when you can take things back outside or if you can stay outside. And I think, again, Mount Dora, if you're hanging around town, awesome place to hang out, get some food, you had some dinner, walk the town, great spot. We're good. We are going to be good. Umatilla, the Villages, certainly, and the Bellevue, Ocala, thumbs up. It's as hot, it's humid, but we are good to go. We're not going to see those storms. All of the action is Polk, Southern Lake, into Orange, Volusia, Seminole. I mean, I-4 is really a great dividing line, give or take. Here is I-4. Draw that out. So it's kind of close. I would say north of that line, you were good to stay dry for the rest of your evening. We're watching this guy here. We're going to see if he can produce some lightning. Hopefully not, but beach day kind of on pause in New Smyrna. Maybe heading in for some lunch. Ponce Inlet, Edgewater. That storm is around. We're watching a couple of other cells, and this is that kind of secondary push. So we had the first round of storms kind of initiate like right in here and then move down like that where they are right now. There's another bigger forcing mechanism about, it's kind of, you can't see it on radar, but it's about right here. And that is why we are seeing storms go up now in and around New Smyrna, Edgewater. There's another little guy here. So Deltona, I know we had some requests for some rain in Deltona. We may get that before the day is done. I don't think it lasts too terribly long, so it's not going to help much, but it'll be something. But again, that chance is slight. So Sanford we're still on a heads up. And then certainly around Altamont Springs, Longwood, Wekiva Springs, into Orlando, Dr. Phillips, we're still going to be under the gun here for the next couple of hours. It's not going to rain the whole time, okay? So I want to also make sure you guys know that. But you're just under the gun for more of these storms. So again, when the sky starts to get a little dark like they have been, I want to take things inside for just a little bit because these are highly electrified. Hey, Laura, what's going on in Daytona Beach? Everything right now is right to your south. So that's good news for you, unless you're rooting for the rain right now, which we also need in Daytona Beach. We've gotten some over the past few days, but there is a live look at the beach, and things are looking good. The beach is hopping right now. Take you back over to my split screen here, just down the road in New Smyrna. That's where we have things rocking a little bit. And it looks like my friend in Deltona, they're going to pop just to your south. There's another little guy here. All right, so let's go check in. And the crazy thing is here, I mean, these ones, that's great that these ones in Orange County really aren't blowing up. All right, Barbara, we're going to go check in on Melbourne. I'm going to switch my camera closer to... Actually, our port camera is down. That's a live look at Orlando. So I'm going to take the radar back. We're going to go back to the larger view of the radar. And then we're going to head down into Brevard County. So to answer your question right off the bat, I got a little buzz, just made sure that there's not going to be any warnings coming out from the National Weather Service. To answer your question, I believe you are. Things look a little weird around Melbourne because there is the actual radar site. We call that the cone of silence because the beam has to head up so it doesn't actually see things under the radar. But what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to put this kind of loop on, and here comes this developing cell. We were just watching and talking about these kind of boundaries out here intersecting, how it was nice and quiet. Now there comes another storm. So that's exactly what we are seeing here. And I want to show you this. Here's another outflow boundary from these storms here, so that cooler air rushing out. We have one right here, so we could see storms fire up in this area next. The sea breeze is right here. That's going to help to enhance that guy. And then all of this is going to fill in and kind of move towards Melbourne and Palm Bay, Malabar, Grant Valcaria, Miko. We're going to likely get involved in this, especially a little bit later. That's where we can get some really nasty stuff, the southeast corner. And it's right along the sea breeze here that we are going to watch for just a very, very small, it's very, very tiny, a small chance for these to quickly spin and maybe produce a brief tornado. We are certainly not in a crazy tornado environment, okay? So I want to be clear about that. But this kind of thing, when you have storms going this way, you have the flow, and then at the surface, you have changing wind directions. You can produce a rogue little brief tornado. Those things would not be able to be sustained. Hey, what is going on in Palm Bay? These are coming for you guys as well. The good news is there's nothing damaging out there for you. At this time, we're watching them closely. But we do have developing storms, so if you were to look out your window to your west towards I-95, that's where you will be able to see some really dark clouds right now as those storms try to build, and we will see that kind of fill in over the next couple of hours. Making sure the phone is buzzing. You got it. Thanks for hopping on the live stream here as we're live on Facebook. We're on clickorlando.com. If you have the News 6 app, it's a free download. We hop on here all the time just to give you guys a heads up. I know you can see out of the window, but if you have plans to be outside, I just wanted to kind of time these in and out for you if you do have plans outside. We're going to head back into Viera. We were checking out Viera a little bit ago, and we're watching more storms kind of fire up around you. So West Melbourne, you're up now. You're probably getting some light rain again. This is a really difficult area to inspect on radar because the radar is so close. We do, and I think we're going to get some. I think we are going to get some. That's where we're at least going to look at all that stuff, and we're going to see these increase. So Grant Valcaria, you're going to get in on this guy as well. I just want to inspect this one real quick. Again, I just want to make sure that these are behaving nicely, all the wind going in the same direction at this point. That's good. So when these guys get isolated and they're right on the sea breeze, we've got a nice little sea breeze, meaning the outflow boundary, so we could see more storms fire up right in this area towards Fellsmere and Sebastian, and then eventually Miko. We have more storms back this way. This is still in Polk County. This is going to be east of Lake Wales. This is probably the most intense storm that I've seen so far today. And again, most of these have been tame, relatively speaking. We did have a nasty little, storm go through St. Cloud, around Kissimmee area. But 45 minutes ago, we had a lot of people on from St. Cloud tonight. So thank you guys for joining the stream or opening up the News 6 app or tuning in on clickorlando.com. Hey, thank you for those reports. Those are great. Starting to rain a little bit. with thunder in southeast Palm Bay. So you are likely, here's your little downpour. And again, this does look a little weird because of the radar, but this is your little downpour that's kind of chilling over here. And then you're likely hearing the thunder from this beast over here. And I'm going to turn on, and that guy is coming in your direction. So you're likely going to get this guy here. I'm going to turn off my telestration, clear all that out. I'm going to put a timer on that for you. So we'll time it out to the start of the rain. So you're going to be up for some of this heavy cell, or this stronger cell with the heavier rain and lightning, in about 20-ish minutes. So I know it's raining lightly now, as you told us, and thank you again for that report. You can hear the thunder. But there it is right there. We're going to watch for some pretty nasty stuff coming into Holopah. Most of this has been near Harmony. We're going to go check in on St. Cloud. We are nice and quiet after getting a nice little healthy, beefy thunderstorm a little bit ago. Same for us in Kissimmee. Four Corners, we're good. Just a teeny tiny downpour in Orlando right now. This is nothing. And the good news is, I mean, it's depending upon how you're looking at it. We could use the rain, but if you do have plans to be outside, the atmosphere is just not supporting things kind of Orlando and points north, unless you are right along the coast. Daytona Beach, we're still good. Flagler Beach in Palm Coast and Flagler Beach into Bunnell, all nice and dry. Again, enjoy your evening. We're going to be dry. It's muggy. Same for us in Ormond Beach, I think. DeLand, I think we're almost to that point where we're going to be dry for the rest of your evening as well. And then certainly Bushnell, we're good. Wildwood, we're dry. Bellevue, Ocala, Denellen, nothing on the radar for you. And I am not expecting things to light up on the radar. If I have anybody tuning in from Marion County or Northern Lake County, Lake Catherine, Umatilla, Howie in the Hills, Mascot. Mascot, I do think we're actually still under a little bit of a gun. Mineola into Claremont. There's nothing on there right now. We are good to go. Just keep an eye to your north to see if we can get anything to pop there. All right, so what just buzzed on my phone? Marine warning just off of Brevard County. So don't take the boat out. Look at this guy here. So this guy really, really got going. You see all that purple here. I would not be surprised if we do see the Weather Service issue a warning on this. If you are just tuning in, we're kind of zoomed in. This is in Brevard County. South Patrick Shores just north of us, and Satellite Beach just north of us in Melbourne. Look at that big... We were looking at this guy before, and now we have a pretty big hail core here. So you see that little thing of purple there? This is right near Pineda crossing North Highway 1. This is kind of paralleling the Pineda Causeway, heading towards A1A. Here's Lotus. There's Pineda. I'm going to turn on the severe threat here and see what the computer thinks. I think it's a little aggressive. The computer sometimes is in forecasting the hail size here. But nonetheless, I do think we could have the hail closing in on the size of quarters. So if anybody is watching from Pineda, this is now the nastiest storm. And already that little hail core has collapsed. So that's some good news there. We'll see if we get any hail reports in a little bit later on. Just kind of looking around, looking at different radar tools here. We have lightning all over the place in Cocoa Beach, South Patrick Shores, Satellite Beach. These are moving off to the north and east a little bit. This one's more due east right along the coast. And if you zoom out, you can really kind of see what's going on in terms of the sea breeze. That's where we had this guy fire off of, this one here. And it's this faint little teeny tiny line, that green line that you see there. That's that East Coast sea breeze forcing inland. And we're going to watch the interaction with all of these storms out here with the East Coast sea breeze. So that's going to determine kind of the severity. That's really our lone shot here, thankfully. Anyway, for some severe weather tonight that could produce some damage, kind of as those two kind of pieces, if you will, get together and kind of collide. It makes things a little rough out there, which we already are seeing some things rough, but rougher. Remember we checked in on this one near South Patrick Shores a little bit ago. It had 25 lightning strikes. Now it's up to 45 to 50 every 15 minutes. So this guy has been doing some work. Thankfully, it's going to be exiting the coast fairly quickly. But Indian Harbor Beach, we're gonna be up soon. Post Road in Brevard County near Palm Shores. Lot of heavy rain. Maybe even some small hail in there. Let's check the wind. It's probably gusting a little bit more than that as well, but the radar is estimating around 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts coming out of this storm. That's closing in on us in South Patrick Shores. There's a lot going on this map, so I'm going to highlight Satellite Beach, South Patrick Shores, just to get the correct storm motion. I'm going to put that on there. This guy is moving about due east, so we're going to highlight that. So, I mean, you're going to be up for 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts in Satellite Beach in about 15-ish minutes. So, again, if you are on Satellite Beach, the light rain that's over there now is probably forcing you off the beach. But you want to make sure you get off. I mean, there's lightning striking on the beach right now. Look at all these lightning strikes. And I mean, the storm isn't even there yet. So this is why it is so dangerous and so important to make sure that you're paying attention. If you ever have outdoor plans, which a lot of people do, it's Florida. It's a great time to be outside when there are thunderstorms around, because the lightning always strikes way away from the parent thunderstorm. There's another fresh one there in Satellite Beach. Gonna back up here and get a fresh look. Just kind of inspect all these guys with you. We're looking at this little cell in southeast of St. Cloud. Heavy rain moving toward Holopah, moving toward Deer Park. But the good news is it is behaving right now. Going to look at a different radar perspective. And good, yeah. They look like they are behaving. Let's go check it on Palm Bay, because we were watching those storms kind of close in. Here it is right here. And it's getting closer. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at this lightning strike here. There's no storm around. I mean, that is miles away from the parent thunderstorm where all its lightning strikes are. So, I mean, again, Palm Bay, Satellite Beach. Make sure that you are getting off the beach. Floridania Beach. Now might be a good time to start packing up. If you have any friends out that way, if you have any family, or you're out there yourself and you have us in the palm of your hand, you're watching on the News 6 app, I hope you're enjoying your beach day. It might be a good time, though, to start pulling that back, packing things up. It's getting really dark if you turn around, if you are looking at the ocean. Nasty storms are going to be closing in here momentarily. We were talking to a friend in Winter Haven a little bit ago. We were talking that we would likely have another quick little round come through with that secondary push, that bigger outflow boundary ahead of a cold front that's kind of moving down the peninsula. And there we go with some more downpours around Winter Haven. So if you are still here for Winter Haven and Inwood, we're in Polk County now, Auburndale, some light to moderate rain pushing through. But that's kind of the deal. We're going to go check in on this guy here in Seminole County. Maybe a few little teeny tiny showers in the Altamont Springs, Wekiva Springs, Longwood area. This is if you head down 436. Maitland and Eatonville. Teeny light shower. This guy's trying to grow up a little bit. We just saw that kind of flare up in real time there. We'll see if it can hold together, but a nice downpour there heading towards Bertha. No lightning associated with that. And we're looking at Oviedo, Iowa City. That's some good stuff. That'd be great if we can keep it nice and tame. This guy in Edgewater has been sitting here for a while, but it's kind of raining itself out at this time. So that is great. That is great if you have plans. We're still good in Daytona Beach, as we're expecting Daytona Beach to remain dry for the rest of the day as all of this kind of hangs out. Look at all of this lightning down here. For us in Brevard, some of us in Brevard anyway, are getting rocked. Northern half is relatively quiet. We have a nice little downpour now around Titusville. We have a little bit of lightning just over the county line into Orange. A few little showers on Merritt Island. That's it. There's nothing crazy. But look at us right down I-95. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your dinner. And thanks for stopping in to say hey. Hey, Rachel, good to see you. Much cooler in St. Cloud. We need that. And then that our way, just up the road from you. There's what came through St. Cloud. Look at that. Nice and quiet. There is that storm. And that storm is losing a lot of its punch as well. It might reinvigorate as it hits. There's the sea breeze trying to advance inland. So it might reinvigorate things. And that's really where we are going to get our push. If these are going to turn severe, it's going to be because of the help of that sea breeze out there. Again, we're not looking at a widespread severe weather threat. So I want to make sure. And Doris said, yeah, I'm with you. If we can do it all the time without the lightning, that'd be great. She said we need the rain badly, but can do without the lightning strikes. Look at all the light. I mean, we're getting way more lightning now to the west of Palm Bay. Rachel said it was windy. We had a lot of people tune in from St. Cloud. So St. Cloud is well represented on this live stream. So shout out to you guys. Thanks so much for all of your reports. And I hope everybody's doing okay after those storms. Again, there wasn't any warning. And again, it wasn't damaging, but it was certainly intense with a lot of wind and a lot of heavy rain. Again, they don't have to be warned to produce some drama anyway. But yeah, it was kind of ugly there for a little bit as that kind of storm would come through. All right, in Longwood, we're going to head back to Longwood. We are still kind of under the gun here for a little bit in Longwood. More often than not, you are going to be on the dry side, though. We have that little downpour that we were kind of pinpointing to the south and east of you. We're back into Seminole County now, and this one is moving away from you. I really think that you are quickly losing a shot at rain today. So if you have plans to be outside for the next hour or so, I would keep an eye on things. But I mean, quickly as we approach the 5 and certainly 6 o'clock hour, most of this is going to be really confined to kind of right where we're seeing the rock and stuff now, south and east of Orlando. Margaret, what's going on? She's asking about the Orlando International Airport. And right now, things are good. There's a little teeny tiny shower just north of the airport. There is the airport. And that's just kind of just to the north of you, north of the airport. But right now, you are looking good. If you have to fly out there, if anything's going to be delayed, it's not going to be because of thunderstorms or any weather around the airport. So you're looking good there. We're going to be watching for the next few still a couple hours in Orlando and South Orange County by the airport for another hour or two, really, to see if we can get more storms to develop. But we're doing okay right now, so that's some good news. Hey, Deborah, asking about Port St. John. Right now, you are relatively speaking nice and quiet. Still, for you, you're going to be under the gun anyway until about 7-ish, probably a little bit earlier than that. But right now, just up the road from you in Titusville, little downpour there, some heavy rain up 95 US 1. The rockin' stuff is just to your south. So right now you are clear. But again, another couple of hours, hour or two, we'll be watching for a few storms to develop as a secondary little push comes through. It's not going to be widespread though, so you may miss out entirely. But other than this little sprinkle, depending upon if you're on the north side of town or south side, it's going to be kind of drifting. I'll put that in play here. So you might get in on this little sprinkle. That guy's going to be moving here. I'll put a timer on for if this will hold together. That'll be up in about 15 to 25 minutes, give or take. So in that ballpark, there'll be a nice little shower moving through Port St. John. We'll keep an eye on it for you. See if it can flare up when it meets the sea breeze. But right now, everything's nice and tame for you in Port St. John. Perfect. You got it, Deborah. Thank you so much for tuning in on the live stream tonight. Yeah, so I think you're going to get like a nice little shower. Maybe a rumble of thunder if this grows up. But we've not seen the one in Titusville really flare out much further than it is. So yeah, nice little shower trying to come your way. Nice and gentle. All right, I'm going to do one more tour. Then I have to go work on my show for 6:30. If you guys are around tonight at 6:30, give or take, because we have golf on tonight. I'm going to have another radar tour around. I'm going to show you where the storms are. I'm going to pinpoint those into your backyard for your plans today. Also, some kind of really nice changes coming your way tomorrow. It's going to be cooler. It's going to be less humid. Great window opening weather. You might be able to save on the electric bill tomorrow a little bit. Really, for the next couple of days, it's going to be downright chilly on Tuesday morning. A lot of us are going to wake up in the 50s. So this little cold front is going to come down as we get, as we start to see these cold fronts as from a Floridian perspective come to an end as we transition into the summer months. That tends to happen or does happen. But we will have some cooler weather if you're not a fan of the humid stuff so early. Kelly King, what is going on in Ocala? You are good to go. And I will zoom out and show you the radar just for proof. But there you go. You're nice and quiet, and I am not anticipating any kind of rain coming in your direction for the rest of tonight. And you're going to be good tomorrow. I think you're going to see highs in the 70s tomorrow as well with some sunshine. But I have not put my forecast together for tomorrow just yet. I've been focused on the storms, but I'm going to head back to the Weather Center, work on the forecast for tomorrow, put the show together. Again, if you guys are around, just hanging out, having dinner, out to eat, make sure you tell them to put the news on News 6, and I'm going to have a radar tour for you. Again, show you where the storms are, time those storms out for you for the rest of tonight. And then some of the cooler changes coming tomorrow. Just right now, I will tell you again, really, if you are watching anywhere north of this line, you're pretty much dry for the rest of tonight. And, I mean, your rain chances were low to begin with all day today. It was going to be right down here where we have things rocking. Let me just do one more check. Make sure everything is behaving before I hop on here and get back to the Weather Center. Satellite Beach, man, we are still seeing that rain coming down. All right, let's just check in. Let's check in on Palm Bay. We were watching that storm kind of work in that direction. More light to moderate rain trying to push through. See if this guy's still drifting. And yep. So if anyone's watching from Palm Bay, we were talking to a few of our friends in Palm Bay. This is going to lift in your direction. Put one last timer. It's probably not moving at 37 miles an hour. Put my tracker on. There we go. So Palm Bay, about 20-ish minutes. Okay, so make sure that if you're outside in the backyard grilling, gonna have to bring it in for a little bit. If you're heading to the beach or planning on heading to the beach, give it a little more time, because highly electrified storm coming down the pipeline into Palm Bay. There's likely going to be a few rounds because all this junk in Osceola County as well is going to be moving in your direction. So Brevard is going to be the big winners if you are rooting for the rain today. I know it's not going to be the most convenient thing if you have outdoor plans, but that's why we're hopping on. It's not severe. This is not damaging, but there's some heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and wanted to give you guys a heads up, let you know again if you're heading out doing anything tonight. Alrighty, guys. Want to thank you so much for tuning in on clickorlando.com, on the News 6 app, on YouTube, on the Click Orlando page, and then, of course, on Facebook as well. Thank you guys so much for posting where you've been tuning in from. It's been great getting to see you guys. It's been great talking about some of these storms coming through. Thank you a ton for the reports. We can't tell that weather story without you because I'm stuck in here tracking the weather from the radar. So it was great to see the ground truth, and I'm glad that there have been no damage, and let's keep it that way for the rest of the evening. Alrighty, if the weather warrants, we'll hop back on here after the show. The show again at 6:30. We'll run until 7. If we have storms out there, we're going to hop right back on here at about 7:15, give or take. So you know where to find us. If you are enjoying this, if you're watching on YouTube and you like getting these alerts when there's kind of this impactful or inconvenient or severe weather, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that alert bell so that anytime we go live, you're going to know about it, so that if you're at the beach or just chilling in your backyard, you get that alert, we're going to let you know that a storm's coming in your direction. Thank you guys a ton for tuning in. Have a great rest of your weekend. Remember, 6:30 on News 6. That's the CBS station in the Orlando, Melbourne, Ocala area, Daytona Beach, wherever you were watching in the greater Orlando area. We're going to be there around 6:30.